Why does life hurt so much sometimes? Why do we go through pain, disappointment, loss, and uncertainty, even when we are trying to do everything right? And the deeper question is this: is suffering just something we have to survive, or can it actually change us? In this video, you'll understand why pain is not always the end of something. Sometimes it is the beginning of something deeper. Rumi believed that suffering can strip away illusion, open the heart, and guide us toward clarity, strength, and a more meaningful life. Most people do not think of suffering as a teacher. They think of it as interruption, something that gets in the way of life. We build routines, we make plans, we create structures that help us feel safe. We tell ourselves that if we work hard enough, prepare carefully enough, and manage things well enough, life will stay under control. But suffering begins the moment that illusion starts to break. A loss, a disappointment, a change we did not choose, a moment when what we depended on no longer holds. Rumi teaches that pain is not only about what happened outside us, it reveals what we were leaning on inside us: the illusion of certainty, the illusion of control, the illusion that comfort can protect us from change. And when those illusions begin to collapse, we do not only feel pain, we feel exposed, we feel disoriented, we feel as though the ground beneath us has shifted. This is why suffering feels so personal. It does not only wound our circumstances, it touches the identities we built around those circumstances. But this, for Rumi, is where the deeper journey begins. Rumi would say, do not rush past this moment, because pain is not always just pain. Sometimes it is exposure. Sometimes it is the removal of what was false. Sometimes it is the beginning of truth. For Rumi, suffering is not meaningless. It is a force that can strip away illusion and reveal what is real. And that is why he speaks of suffering not only as pain, but as purification. Rumi often describes suffering as a kind of fire, not because suffering is good in itself, but because fire reveals what can endure. In a furnace, gold is purified by heat. Everything impure is burned away. And what remains is more true than what entered the fire. Rumi says the same happens in the human soul. Pain burns through illusion. It exposes our attachments. It shows us where we were dependent on things that cannot last: status, approval, security, control. And yet, suffering does more than expose. It can also deepen. It can make us more honest, more compassionate, more awake to what really matters. This is why Rumi connects suffering with love, not romantic love, divine love, a force that transforms pain into understanding, a force that does not erase hardship but gives it meaning. In this way, suffering becomes part of the path, not because we seek it, but because once it arrives, we can either harden against it or allow it to enlarge us. And when it enlarges us, it becomes more than pain. It becomes insight, it becomes humility, it becomes compassion.
The wound is the place where the light enters you. To reach the light, you must pass through the fire. In the furnace of suffering, the rubbish and the lies are burned away, and the gold of your true self remains. The pain of love is the pain of transformation. In the crucible of love, the heart is remade.
Why does suffering feel like it is taking everything from us?
Because it is taking what cannot remain.
Then suffering is a fire?
Yes. And if you endure it with love, it reveals the truth beneath what was false.
And what gives pain meaning?
Love. Love is the alchemist. It turns sorrow into understanding.
Rumi also reminds us that suffering is not private in the way we often imagine. It is part of the shared human journey. Across time, across lives, the same movement repeats. A person loses what they depended on, they struggle, they resist. Then slowly, if they remain present, they begin to see more clearly. That is why suffering, for Rumi, is not an isolated event. It is part of a greater design, Across different cultures and traditions, suffering is an inherent human condition. Through suffering, individuals confront the fundamental questions of existence, such as the nature of reality, the meaning of life, and the search for truth. Nietzsche has emphasized that suffering can lead to profound self awareness and personal growth. Rumi is not asking us to admire suffering, he is asking us not to waste it. Pain can either make us smaller or make us deeper. What changes that outcome is how we meet it. If we only resist it, we stay trapped inside it. But if we stay present long enough to learn from it, suffering becomes a teacher. That is the practical power of Rumi's teaching. When pain comes, don't only ask, how do I get rid of this? Also ask, what is this revealing? What is this burning away? What truth is this trying to uncover? At the beginning of this video, we asked why life hurts. Now we can answer that more clearly. Suffering is not always punishment. It is not always meaningless, and it is not always the end. Sometimes it is the place where illusion breaks. Sometimes it is the fire that purifies. Sometimes it is the moment the heart opens to something deeper. Rumi teaches that pain can become transformation if we let it deepen us instead of closing us. This video is part of the 7-book Rumi collection by Dr. Farid Mostaman, available on Amazon. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and continue this journey with us. The wound is not where your story ends, it is where your deeper seeing begins.